Hi Disney fans and welcome once again. In the last video, Walt had died and the animation studio entered into the Dark Age. I'm calling this the Dark Age not just because the film they made was pretty adult and dark, but the company had a lot of problems during the same time. Businessman Saul Stenberg wanted to buy Walt Disney and then sell out the different studios to the highest bidding. Plus that animation was pretty much considered a dying art form during this time. So from there, let us go on to Disney's second animated release in 1977 and their first attempt at a darker family film, The Rescuers. This was an exciting and at times scary adventure that featured some great chemistry between voice actors Bob Newhart and Eva Gabor. And the Rescuers soundtrack is beautiful. With that said, the animation has its moments of dullness, and Madame Medusa is not that interesting of a villain. But the film is still a very solid effort from the Disney artist, so it's not surprising that it was a huge box office success and energized the animation studio.
Tomorrow is another day.
Olivia.
Oh, I hope you always stay.
Before we go to next film, let us look at some history. When Walt started the studio in the 20s, he had 9 directing animators called the 9 Old Men. But in the late 70s, only 3 was left. Knowing that they would retire before the next film would be finished, they dedicated their last months at the studio to educate the new generation of animators that took over the productions. That generation included John Lasseter, Don Bluth, Ron Clements, John Musker, Richard Rick, and Tim Burton, among many others. The final result is definitely one of the studio's greatest and most mature efforts ever, The Fox and the Hound. Even if the main characters here want to be friends, authorities tells them to be enemies, and even pushes them to the point that they want to kill one another. It is that social commentary about racism that makes The Fox and the Hound to one of Disney's most adult films. The story is also a lot more realistic and depressing than most family films out there. Hell, this movie doesn't even have a happy ending. It ends more bittersweet. But that is actually what I like about this film. I can take the film serious because it takes me serious. Plus that it has cute animals, beautiful animation, and likable characters. That often helps too. The Fox and the Hound was a huge success and showed critics how much the studio would mature in the near future.
Goodbye may seem forever. Farewell is like the end, but in my heart's a memory, and there you'll always be.
In 1985, Disney released The Black Cauldron. It might not be one of the most well-known in the Disney canon, but it is actually a record breaker in many ways. It was the first film in the canon to be PG rated, the first animated film to have computer-generated effects, and it is the lowest grossing animated film in Disney history. The film had a total budget of $25 million, but only got back half of it on the international box office. And to make it even more embarrassing, it was outgrossed by the Care Bears movie. But it is actually a really cool movie. John Hurt gives a creepy performance as the villain, the Horned King. And the comedic characters is actually very funny without being distracting to the dark nature of the film. The only issue with the film is that Taran is kind of a douchebag.
Well, are you coming?
Me? Go in there? Oh, no. It's a terrible place.
Just as I thought. You're no friend. You're just a miserable coward. Here. This is all you wanted.
If Greg Lord go into Evil Castle, poor Gertie will never see his friend again. No, never.
You will be transported to a fantasy event for the entire family.
Look, sire, it's working.
Soon the Black Cauldron will be mine.
In the great tradition of Disney animated classics, now comes the newest Disney spectacle of them all, the Black Cauldron.
Every sunshine shining, will we find a silver lining? Come along, sing a song. When today becomes tomorrow, will we find joy or sorrow? Sing